I loved y'all's live video last night.
Love that. I do too.
What up, y'all?
Thank you. Hey, Shar.
Hey, sorry, I just realized I have a missed call from you.
It's all right. I'll call you after.
All right.
I didn't have any missed calls. Good evening, everyone. Robin, I thought you were hosting the call. I mean, why you quit? What's up?
Good evening, Chris.
How are you?
I can't wait to hear about what you're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah? What is that supposed to mean? Never know. Never know what'll come out of these lips. Ask my wife.
I like that hat look.
My wife says I have no filter.
Well, shoot, you don't have no filter. If it wasn't for your wife, there'd probably be a lot more stuff coming out of your mouth. She's over there behind the computer screen telling you, don't say that.
Yeah, she's like, I can't look at her because I get all distracted because you never know what in the hell I'm going to get in trouble for.
Uh-huh.
Hey, guys, send out any last-minute text before we started here. And as you're popping on, if you would, mute your phone. I'm going to go do a quick post in the team page.
I was only hit.
We're in a business meeting right now, so you can write this off.
I hope everybody is having a rocking week. Guys, we're going to be sharing a lot of goods with you all tonight. We have a lot of good stuff for you. So, again, send out any last-minute text. We're going to be getting started now. So, let me see here. Amy Smith, are you out there? What are you saying over there? Only have 38% battery left. You must be talking too much. All right, guys. So, guys, we have a special guest host tonight. She's going to kind of share not only some insight, but she's going to get the call kicked off. Ann Lowe, are you out there?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, what are you talking? Hey, I'm going to remute everybody just to, yeah, I could do it manually. All right, go ahead and get us started off, Ann.
Okay, sure. One of the things that sometimes there are little things that slip through the cracks when there's so much information going through our chats and all this stuff. And one of the things that was pointed out to me today that I had no idea existed was that we are now able to utilize our wallets to pay for our SmartShip. So I don't know, I'm sure some of you already know this, but that was news to me, and which is amazing because you can actually go into SmartShip and go into your billing information and you can add that, and if you have enough money in your wallet, it will take that directly out of your SmartShip. And if you don't, it will take whatever you do have and then utilize that whatever the difference is with your default credit card. Or if you don't have any money in your wallet, it will use your default credit card. So that to me was very, very exciting because that always just is showing me the progress that this company is constantly making. Some of us came from another company that took a long time for that to be in place. And so here we are, what, are we 100 days old yet? Somewhere close to there, but in that range. So to see those kinds of changes be available already, it just is exciting to know that they listen to us, they are constantly making changes. And guess what? They're going to constantly still be making changes. And so that's part of why it's so, so, so important to stay plugged in. And you can actually really see who isn't plugged in because there are questions that'll come up in Messenger or questions that come up on Zooms like this that have been covered multiple times. And you can tell that they're either not on the Facebook page, they're not in Messenger, they're not paying attention. And so you really need to make sure that you're plugged into your community and making sure that you're getting trained. This is your business. And the way that I always look at this type of business is if you want to support people and get them excited and be encouraging, you share that information downline. And if you're butthurt about something and you have itches, bitches, and twitches, you take that privately upline. It just is not, this is a new enough company and there's new things that come up. That is just not something that we do publicly. And in my Messenger group, if that stuff occurs, you will get removed. And I think that is something that people need to, we love our teams. We all love our teams immensely. Because none of us would be here without our teams, quite honestly. But I think that we need to take a stand. We're a happiness company. So, I'm very real. There are things that happen and there are some challenges that we all run into, but let's make this a happy environment. We do not need the negativity. Yes, there are things that are challenges, but I'm going to tell you quite frankly, if you come at me and are going to attack me about something, you're not going to be at the top of my list. Well, you may be, but it's not going to be the list you want to be on. But I will say that if you come at me with, I could use some help, what can I do? How can you support me? I will bend over backwards to support you. And I don't care whether you're in my organization or not, I will do what I can to support you. And I would say that there's probably, if I look at all these faces that are on my particular screen, I know a lot of these people, some of them quite well, some of them not so well, but I've been around a few of them. Don't give me that face, Sean McLean. And they're like Robin. I don't know Robin well, but I've got to spend a little more time with her than in the past. There is no doubt in my mind that I could call her today and ask for her assistance. And she's cross-lined to me. So, but I guarantee you that if I called her out and started chewing her ass out, she's not going to help me. So we just do way better when we come from a place of, you know, how can you assist me and what can I do to support you in assisting me? So that's kind of all I've got, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ann. And way to take it over, especially when I put you on the spot and you had no idea that you were going to be starting the call off. So
No.
great job.
Thanks.
So guys, a place of leadership is being able to just step up to the plate and take over things like that. Like she could have just totally freaked out and been like, oh my God, you know, and literally hung up the phone or whatever. But she just took it over and ran with it. So in the leadership role, we are going to push you a little bit. We're going to push you out of your comfort zone, because the comfort zone is basically a place where you're going to stay stuck and you will not grow if you stay in your comfort zone. And I was looking for an analogy and I couldn't come up with it last minute. So I just messed up a totally great story on the comfort zone, but it really doesn't matter, right? So, guys, there's been a lot of phone calls that I've had over the last week, and it's so funny. Every payday, there's people that are happy and there's people that are unhappy, many of which might not understand the comp plan. This run, there were some mistakes in the comp plan due to the fact that if people, I'm trying to figure out what I can say and what I can't say. We're working on having more accountability, more, put it this way, where you won't need customer service, where you'll be able to see every aspect of what is what. And this run, because the consultants ran the numbers for us, there were some things that might have been missed. And I'm not saying that if you think your check should have been more, that yours was definitely messed up, because there was some numbers that we ran where people thought their check should have been bigger and they were paid the correct thing. And there was some others that we found some mistakes. And what I want to share with you is the fact that we are a new company and we are trying to perfect a system based on a comp plan that's never existed. There have been a couple little challenges. And just like Ann shared, the way that we deal with those things make a big difference on the way that people respond to you. And what I want to share is that leaders respond, don't react. If you react, and I'll just use a scenario, being a married person, and the wife might confront me on certain things. If I react, then it can create some challenges, and it can create some things where there's adversity, and there's now this one, you know, she's saying this and I'm saying that, and then now we're having conflict, right? So the way that we respond to things can make a big difference on the way that situations are handled, the way that you talk to someone. And unfortunately, the people that we love, sometimes we treat worse than the people that might be strangers. And we might talk to our spouse a little bit different than when we should talk to them the best. That doesn't mean that we always do. And I'm just using it as a scenario. In this process, when we are dealing with adversities or some challenges with, if we think that things might not be the way that they were supposed to be, the way that we respond to it can make things go smoother than what they would if we react. And I just wanted to share that because, and I'll also share this along with that. There were some people that we audited their numbers, and I don't have the 100% answer yet, but if the numbers didn't come back the way that they were supposed to, then they're going to run all the numbers again to make sure that we're trying to find like a trend in why were these numbers wrong, right? So what I'm trying to share with you is, if you think that your numbers were incorrect, give us a week to try to figure these things out. And if it's not handled based on the ones that were already running, let us know. And I've asked people to send me an email. That way I can go back to basically the auditors to figure out where it is. And I want to be very clear. If you thought your numbers were wrong, go on Team Rise and watch the video that I did, which was a Facebook Live. One, so you understand what you should have got paid. And after you see that, if you think something is wrong, then send me an email. Don't just send me an email saying this and that, whatever, because, again, just because some were wrong doesn't mean that everyone's were wrong. So I want to be very clear about that. Also want to talk about having balance in your business, having balance in your life, having balance in your business. And Ricky and I have been talking about this a whole lot. You know, he just quit his job, and the first week has been fun. And he's like, oh my God. So when he was working a full-time job and doing this on the side, his time was a little bit different than it is now that this is what he's doing. So we've been talking about the balance, and we've been talking about how to run the business in an efficient manner and then still be able to deal with the adversities and deal with all the things, and not really getting across what I want to get across. But you also want to have fun, right? And that's what you want to have fun while we're doing this, and not let it consume you, or not let little challenges basically throw you totally off, right? So many of y'all have watched and knew, if you've been on a welcome call with me and I kind of share my story and what my why is and what drove me was for me to have another boat again. And many of y'all saw that, you know, that has now become a reality. So when I first got home and I started to use the boat a little bit, you know, there's the one side where if I did videos from the boat, you might think that all I'm doing is hanging out on the boat, which is absolutely not the reality. And then I also had to deal with guilt of, if I did go out on the boat for a couple hours, like, should I be working right now? And I had to put things into a perspective of balance of, all right, first off, like, let's just use today as an example. I got on the phone. My first call was at 6 a.m. And I was on the phone literally till I was on a welcome call with Melissa McGuire and some of her new people. Literally got off of that call roughly around 3 o'clock. I think it was around 3 o'clock. I went out to the boat at 4 o'clock and spent 4 to 6 o'clock out on the boat, right? My brother's in town from Colorado. I get to see him once a year. He absolutely loves going surfing and all that, so went and did that, right? And then basically came home, got prepared for this call at 7 o'clock. So the thing is that the first day that I had the boat and had a boat again, I went out on it on a Monday. No, it was a Friday. I got back on a Friday and I went out on it, and I was feeling guilty that I wasn't working 24 hours in that day. And what I realized at that point is that we have to have balance, right? So many of us have full-time jobs, and then we're working the business on the side. But if you don't set time for your family, and you don't set time to go out on a date, my wife, I hope she doesn't hear this because she's going to expect me to bring her out tonight, something like that, but that's a joke. But these are things that are important. Like, you have to go do things with your spouse. You have to spend time with your kids. You have to go out and do fun stuff, or you will burn out, just the way that it is. So I'm sharing this with you guys. And we've also talked about this, like Ricky and I have talked about, based on the call yesterday with Greg Ammerman. I believe it was a leadership call. He was talking about the worst type of success. And some of you all that weren't on that call might not know what that is. But the worst type of success is some success. And guys, when you start having some success and you think that you've arrived, you can totally screw your whole business up, because you now think that you know everything, right? And a little success is way worse than having big success. Because when you think that you've arrived, like, look, guys, Ricky has a huge organization that is doing amazing numbers, and the conversations that we're having is not I've arrived. Oh, I have it together now. It's, okay, how do I deal with, because as things change, we have to change. As things get bigger, we had to become bigger as leaders, right? So we were talking about this, and and he was even talking to me like literally 5 minutes before this call about how he was talking with Greg Ammerman earlier today, and Greg was coaching him on a couple different things on how to basically be more inclusive from a company perspective, not just our team or my team or this team or that team. So guys, as leaders, we are always freaking working on ourselves. So if you ever say that I have it under control and I understand everything and I know how to do this and I don't need this or that because I know it all, it tells me that you don't know anything, because if you knew anything, you wouldn't say that you know everything, because anybody that knows anything knows that they don't know everything. So guys, we as leaders have to always be working. And some of you are going to say, didn't you talk about this last week? Yes, every single week we are going to talk about the basics, because this is the basics. We don't know everything. And as leaders, guys, I literally spent, in between calls, I had Ray Higdon. I became a part of Rank Makers, right? Because I look at different people, like some people have Brian Fryer as a coach, right? And some people in this group, like Amy Smith, for instance, spends thousands of dollars every month with Brian Fryer to have him as a personal coach. Ian studies Brian Fryer, you know, a whole lot, right? And he's on there every day and studying all this stuff, right? Ian's check last month was in the top 1% of Americans, right? A very high income type check. With that being said, if he said, well, I already know everything, my check is great, well, guys, then you're basically stopping it. You always have to be working on yourself, right? So, and I want to be very clear about this as well, that one of the core values of what attracted us to this company when Ricky and I were talking about was the little guy, was the person that might not have ever won before. And some people look at when other people start having success is that they have become bigger than whatever. And no, absolutely not. If you forget where you came from, you will go right back. And I'm sharing this with you guys. As you start to grow, you have to be very coherent about what's going on. And if you do not stay in touch with where you came from, number one, but the way that the new person experiences things, then you've lost touch. And Greg Ammerman had to even, check me on this, because, from a personal development perspective, I've gone to training after training after training after training for now 20 years in May. It'll be 20 years that I've been going to trainings, right? So there is a point where I got, like, when I went to the SOS, where I was like, I could finish his sentences and all this stuff. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, and I was not thinking about the new person that has not gone to training after training after training after training. And my energy, based on the fact that I knew what he was going to say, was coming across arrogant, and it was coming across and putting not a necessarily good energy out there. So guys, I'm being very transparent on myself, where, I basically didn't have the right energy towards him. Now, my team might not have noticed it, but it was the energy I was putting out in front of the room that he noticed it. And he totally checked me on it. And I apologized for it and said, I promise you that will never happen again. Because you have to look at even these calls. If you hear the same thing that you heard once before, guys, if you're doing the business, then you brought somebody on board this week that wasn't on board last week. And that person might not have heard this last week or the week before, the week before, the week before. So we always have to keep ourselves in the state of what information, yes, I might have heard this, but who hasn't heard this, and what are they going to get from it? So if you check out of the call and you delete yourself or go off the call, I've already heard this, I don't need to hear it again. Well, guess what? one of your teammates might have saw that you checked out of the call. Such and such left the meeting. And then they might go, well, I don't need to be on here because Johnny Boy, he's not on the call. Well, Johnny Boy might have felt he heard this before, so he doesn't need to be on it. But guys, the call's not just for you, it's for the new people. So I'm sharing this with you all because so many times, we go through all this stuff, and some of us want to compare ourselves to other people. And we'll sit there and go, well, this person's doing this. Well, maybe I'm not good enough. So today I was watching Ray Higdon, and he used this example. And I was like, wow, that is an incredible analogy. And I shared earlier with Brian Fryer, because Brian Fryer actually is coached by Ray Higdon. So I'm like, I really connect with Ray Higdon. I love all of Brian Fryer stuff, but I probably connect, me personally, with Ray Higdon a little bit more. And I was watching this video, and he was talking about a factory. And he said, and he used this analogy, and I thought it was great, so I'll share it. So guys, and I'm telling you where I'm getting it from right now, but a lot of the stuff that you've heard me talk about, if you've been around for any length of time, you'll hear me say stories and this and that, whatever. And there's some things that I don't know if I made it up or if I heard it somewhere, or I might have heard something, I twisted it around or whatever, but there's no new information out there. So everyone got something from somewhere, right? They might have put their own twist on it or whatever, but I am a student of not only leaders, but of other students. And I try to learn from everyone that I talk to. I learn stuff from new people. And I'm sharing this because if you stop learning, you're done. So the analogy was, many people will get started in this business and things aren't going the way that they want it to, or they start to compare their success to other people, and they might be going, well, maybe I'm not cut out for this because it's not working for me like that, right? So we use the analogy of a factory. In a factory, if you visualize like the conveyor belts and like this little part does this, let's just use making toy cars or something. He used the analogy of RC cars or remote control cars, right? And it goes through the first part and like the wheels are put on, and it goes to the next station, and then this part's shaped, and over here the suspension's put on, and over here something else is put on. And what a factory does when there's a challenge, if it comes out at the end and it's screwed up, they don't just go, oh, it's messed up, we're done, this thing doesn't work, we're closing it down, we're out, the factory's done, we're closing the whole thing down because the car doesn't work, right? What they do is they go back and they're going, like, all right, there's 10 stages through the factory. So they go to stage 10 at the end. They go, all right, everything looked good there. Then they go to 9. They're like, okay, everything looks good there. Then they go to 8. Then they go to 7. And then they go to 6. And they're like, oh, 6 is where the problem is. And then they fix what's going on in stage 6. And I'm sharing this because many of us have been doing the business, and like their invite or their prospecting part sucks, right? But they're great at team building. They're great at like supporting people. Well, if you're good at supporting people, but your invite sucks, how about we work on the invite and not say that the whole business doesn't work? Your invite just sucks, right? And I'm using very direct words, and forgive me for that. But the bottom line is that if you're not having success, there's something in the process that's not working. It doesn't mean that the whole process doesn't work. It means that you go and find the things that aren't working and fix those things. But we also need to have balance and not go, well, my strengths are this, so I'm only going to focus on our weaknesses. No, focus on your strengths and slowly get better at the other things, because we all have strengths. We all have gifts. We want to make sure that we basically pour into our gifts and get better at it. It's kind of like, today I was wake surfing with my brother, and on the toe side, and if I'm going facing the wave, right, it's really easy, and I'm used to doing that side. Well, when I go to the other side, it's like starting over. It's almost like I don't even know what I'm doing, right? Well, I don't quit working on this side and only go to that side, because then I'll lose what I have over here. But I will go practice on the back side, and that's where the wave is going this way. But it's a totally different technique to do that than it is to do the front side. My point is that we have to work on our weaknesses, but also focus on our strengths. And every single one of you all on this call today is better than what you've given yourself credit. There are things in your life that you are amazing at. And if you can basically put those things into over here and use those strengths to grow, and then just slowly focus on the things that you're not good at through practice, you know, plan, do, and then review, right? So you plan it, you do it, and then you review it based on what you went through, and you say, well, I can get better at this. But don't beat yourself up because you're not great at everything, or give up on yourself because you're not a perfect surfer the first time. Guys, I was not a surfer. I liked wakeboarding, right? And when I started surfing, I sucked. But the more I did it, the better I got. And that's like everything in life. And if you can't relate to my analogies, figure out something in your life that you're good at now that you might not have been good at when you started. And don't compare yourself to other people. There were some things that my brother, he's a snowboarder, right? He came down, there were some things he was doing on the surfboard better than I was doing. There was things that I did better than he was doing, right? I'm watching what he's doing. I'm like, oh, he did that a little bit differently. Guess what? When I went out there, I copied what he did. So guys, in this business, we have people that you can model, and that's why we talk about passing the ball so much. That's how we learn. The peek and pass it to someone else. So there's different types of knowledge. There's learned knowledge. There's activity knowledge that you cannot learn without doing it. You can't learn how to surf. You can't learn how to ride a bike. You can't learn how to swim without doing it. Then there's other things you can learn through modeling after other people. And I was watching my brother and watching what he was doing, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. And then I noticed things that he wasn't doing that I was doing better, and I started to point that out. So guys, you can model after other people so you don't have to make the same mistakes. So there's learned knowledge, activity knowledge, there's modeling knowledge, and then there's teaching knowledge. When you start to teach it to other people, you bring it to a whole nother level. So guys, I'm using some different analogies because these are just some things that I've talked to different people over the last week. And what I've noticed, some things that we need to talk about a little bit. Another thing is that network marketing and traditional business are two totally different freaking things. Are there some things you can use in one that benefit the other? Yes. Are there some things in networking you can use in traditional business that can benefit in traditional business? Absolutely. But if you think you know everything about traditional business because you know network marketing, that's not smart. If you think because you were good in traditional business so you know everything about network marketing, not necessarily smart. Two totally different animals. But everyone has skills that they came here with that they can use. But again, earlier I talked about if you think that you know everything, you really don't know anything, because if you knew everything, I said it wrong. If you thought that you know anything about network marketing, you would never say that you know everything about network marketing. So with that being said, guys, this is a learning process. Myself, Ricky, Robin, I talk to Melissa all the time. Melissa is calling me, and we all coach each other. I talk to Sean and Kim. I'm talking to Mike Massini. I'm talking to John Canada. Guys, I learn different things from leaders all the time. Jen Marsh gets on and does a getting started training, different style than me. I'm like taking notes. But guys, her personality is a little bit different than mine. Will I just like go, well, Jen Marsh is doing this way, I'm going to just quit everything that I'm doing and go try to do it like her? No. But I'm going to take bits and pieces from every single person and the things that they're doing, and I'm going to say, wow, that's great. I'm going to implement that little strategy. And I'm sharing this because you don't want to go and just totally just say I'm doing everything different. You want to take little bits and pieces and still be you. So, guys, this is all a learning process. And every single one of us are learning every single day. And as soon as you quit learning, you're done. You're either growing or you're dying. So again, our focus becomes our reality. And so many times I'm listening to people on welcome calls, and they start to share, or even on training calls when we're talking to people, and they start to argue the way that they are. And if you focus on a certain thing and it doesn't serve you, you will create more of what you're not happy about. If you have negative thoughts about people that are having success, guess what's going to happen? You won't attract what your thoughts repel. If you have negative thoughts about someone that's having success, or jealousy towards someone that's having success, subconsciously you're sabotaging your business, because we will not attract what our thoughts repel. And guys, we are being programmed every single day by media, by TV, and by all these things to be unsuccessful. And if you don't believe me, just go and think about it. Watch different shows, and they're always portraying the rich person as the bad guy. Spider-Man, who is the bad guy? The millionaire, the billionaire, right? Superman, Lex Luthor was the bad guy. Poor orphan guy, or whatever you want to call him, adopted by Ed, Ted, Fred, whoever it was, living out on a farm, Clark Kent, right? Goes in, but the bad guy is always the wealthy guy. Subconsciously, we are being programmed to not be successful, but we were all designed for greatness and conditioned for failure. That's the reason why I'm sharing all this stuff, just paying attention to verbiage and things that I'm hearing people say. I heard crazy stuff over the last week that people thought that if you came from a certain company, you had an advantage over if you came from another company. I've heard some crazy stuff like only certain people had problems with their checks. Guys, the company's goal, and this is what I want to share. I'm sharing a lot of stuff, so I'm just going off on a rant. I'm about to turn it over, guys. So, guys, if you knew the focus or the vision of Robert R. Blong, you would not have a negative thought towards the company, even when things are screwed up. Because the whole goal is to create an environment that is so impressive for you that you are so bought into everything that you will never want to go look at another company again. They've taken all the breakage out of the comp plan and paid it back out to the field, so where you can make as much money as possible, so where you'll never have to look at, I want to go to another company. They've created an environment where we're going to have multiple lanes of opportunities, from travel to health and wellness to electronics. I'm not going to even go into that, but you're about to see something in the next couple months in a whole nother field where you're going to be like, what? See what? Right? They are trying to create something for all of us to where we'll never look for another place to go. So to think that the company is screwing your checkup on purpose is absolutely mind-blowing. The bottom line is if you're not happy, unhappiness spreads way quicker than when you're happy, right? When you are basically happy, unfortunately, people don't tell people as much about what they're happy about as they are when they're pissed. Excuse my language, but when somebody's upset, everybody knows they're upset, right? So bad news travels way faster than good news. So the last thing they want to do is create an environment where people are going to be upset. And what I've loved about the culture of our company is they're always trying to do the right thing. They're always trying to make sure that everything is going smoothly. So if things aren't perfect right now, and I know, and look, for myself, I've talked to Robin about this, I've talked to many of the leaders, but when we don't know what's going on, it makes us feel really uncomfortable. And we're like, you know, we ask a question, and sometimes we might ask our upline. And our upline says, I'm going to find that out, and they don't get back with you. And then they're asking their upline, and then that person might not get back to them. Guys, there's certain things right now that we don't know. So if your upline's not getting back to you, it's because they don't know. But what we do know is that I know this. I trust Mark Willison and Judy Wilson with my life. And now that I've built a relationship with Robert Oblong, I trust him with my life. And basically, I know that they're going to do the right thing as a company. And because we are owners of this company, because every single one of you all in this call have the ability to earn stock in this company and actually can have a say-so as a shareholder, should let you know that it's not us against them. This is your company. This is your call. So guys, when I'm talking to the leaders, and in fact, Ann Lowe, I had this conversation with her today. And I said, when I open it up to platinums, I said, I would appreciate it if you would throw out some input, because the lady is amazing. Every time I listen to Ann Lowe, I'm blown away by how sharp she is and how amazing she is. Same thing with many other leaders in the team. Many of the platinums blow me away when I talk to them. But then when I open it up the call to platinums, nobody says anything. Because unfortunately, some of us have judged ourselves and might not see our own greatness. And I'm sharing all this with you guys because every single one of you on this call were designed for greatness. You have greatness inside of you. This is your time. Where you focus is going to determine how fast that happens. And what we are focused on is where we're going, not where we are today. So if you can just put your blinders on and not pay attention to the noise, the challenges, and totally flat out focus on where you want to be in your life, where you want your family to be, and focus on all the greatness that not only is there, that's going to be in the company, but the greatness you have in yourself, and start believing in yourself, your life will change. And I promise every single one of you all, if you will just plug in and not give up on your dreams and not give up on yourself and not give up on this company in the next year, and you are putting 2 people a day and passing the ball to someone else so where you can get modeling knowledge, right? Guys, your life will change. With that being said, I'm done. I'm going to open it up to the platinum. So somebody jump in there.
I'm going to say one thing really quick, like a 30-second tip that has been helping me a bunch, especially when it comes to as many people as we talk to, because the conversation is literally 30 seconds as it is. But I've been using plans in the Facebook Messenger. Literally, like, you can, when you send a sample out, I always say, hey, I just sent your samples out, make me a promise, let me know whenever they come in. And then I'll go click the person's name. So at the top of a message, you click trying to show, it's kind of hard, click their name right here. And then if you scroll down, this is hard to do, but you'll see start plan. So it'll not only will it remind you, but it's also going to ding that person. So if I send samples out like 3 to 4 days out, that way I don't have to write it down and have notes everywhere. I know that it's going to ding in my Facebook Messenger. Not only remind me at the time that I set it for, but remind me an hour before as well. So I have been sticking to an agenda, sticking to, my goals throughout the day, and I haven't missed a single person. If someone says, hey, I'll order it when I get paid on May 5th, I set a plan May 5th that I'm going to check in with them. If somebody says I'll order this weekend, I do that. If I have a call, like let's say I'm working with a distributor and I have a call for tonight at 8:30 or 9:30, whatever. I go in and I put 9:30. That way I don't let things slip through the cracks, because something that's really cool, and I'm going to read a couple just statistics to you guys, and then I'm done. I'm going to shut up. But this was a little picture that started floating around yesterday. It's sales statistics by Grant Cardone. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. 25% of salespeople only make a second contact and then they stop. 12% only make 3 contacts and stop. 10% make more than 3 contacts. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% are made on the second. 5 are made on the third, 10% are made on the fourth, 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So guys, if someone ignores you, if someone leaves you on read, it doesn't mean blow them up all day. It doesn't mean get angry, but check in with them. I just enrolled 2 customers today, and I sent them samples back in January. Okay, like it's April, so don't stop, don't give up on people. If they're telling you no, it just means not now. But seriously, if you get relentless about your follow up game, because if you're just sending out a bunch of samples and you're not following up, then you're missing a lot. But if you're actually completing the process and following up multiple times, you're going to convert like 80% of your samples because the product works and it's affordable. So hopefully that helps. Just wanted to share those things.
Awesome. Ian, I know you had some you wanted to share on the call. We had talked about it earlier.
Okay, you're going to remind me what it was because that was earlier.
I can't remember either, but I know that it was good. And I'm like, share that story.
Well, a couple of things that popped into my head as you were, sharing what you shared. And, first off, that there's been some frustrated people this week and, some comments got made. I'm kind of proud of myself that I didn't fly off the handle in response to some of the things that were said in Messenger. Sometimes when people are behind the computer and all you can see is text and all you can see is a text message.
Ian, somehow you got muted here, but unmute. I went to go unmute. I meant to mute somebody else and somehow I muted you.
Okay, you got me. Anyway, so I was kind of proud of myself for not overreacting and not really taking it personal because I know people have been upset. It's just difficult sometimes to see people jump straight to the conclusion of the company's just screwing us over. Instead of pointing out, hey, I think there may be a problem. We may need to check some numbers. Something doesn't seem right. When somebody takes the leap to the company screwing us over, especially now that I've got to know the leadership of the company, that to me, it just really bothers me. Because if that's, what people in leadership are presenting out to their teams, that your team is going to do what you do. They're not going to do what you say. They're going to do what you do. And if that's what you're projecting out to people, you're just magnifying negativity that's not helping this company. It's not helping the team at all. And another comment that was made was, oh, you people that are all platinums and above get like we're not having to deal with these same problems and the same issues and the same challenges that everybody else has. Like we order our product and it shows up on the doorstep tomorrow. Like we're not having to wait 10 to 14 days for product to show up. Jim Rohn says the same winds blow on us all. The same challenges are affecting all of us in this company. I don't care what rank you're at. Mark and Judy Willitson, when they're at home, are waiting the same amount of time for product to show up at their house too. Guess what? They stocked up, so they don't run out. So it's not an issue. So they set their sales differently. The same winds blow on us all. It's how a leader sets his sales that determines what that wind's going to do, determines your course. And so I can only, suggest to everyone, that we're all imperfect. We're all humans. We all get irritated. We all get aggravated. And, just so you guys know, in case you don't know, there are those of us like myself and Chris Schweda who have spent the last months. I don't know what y'all think we do. I don't know how glamorous you think it is, but to sit on this phone for 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day, playing customer service to this whole team of people and not doing it, say, look at me, guys, I'm being customer service. Pat me on the head, pat me on the back for taking care of your problems. I don't want to be playing customer service, guys. It's no fun to me. I hate it. But I know that we didn't have a customer service department up and running and in action. I know it's coming. I know that they've got a bigger office. I know they have room for more people. I know they actually put in the computer system and the phone system so they can actually answer our calls when we call them. They were running new phone lines and internet throughout that new office last week and this week, guys. It's coming. But until they got up on their feet, we did everything that we could do to help with any problem that we could possibly help out with. And we didn't say it to go, look at me being awesome, playing customer service. We just did it because it needed to be done and because we believe in this company. But, you know, I look at it right now as like when a baby deer or a baby horse is born and their legs are just wobbly and they can't even hardly stand up. That's where we're at as a company. We are that new. We are a baby. And sometimes, you know, you see that mama horse put her nose down there and just kind of hold up, you know, and let that little thing get its legs under it. Let it get some stability. And so for all of you people who've done that just behind the scenes for hours and hours and hours, hundreds and hundreds of people getting their issues taken care of for them, I'm going to say I appreciate each and every one of you. I know you didn't do it to get a pat on the back. I know you didn't do it to get a pat on the head. But I know that there are people that have just put in serious amount of time and hours and effort just to support this team and the company. Okay, and I don't care what level you're at. I don't care if you're Grand Poobah, triple, you know, double dog ambassador, whatever the heck the rank is. You know, I see Mark and Judy up there leading from the front, just doing anything and everything they can possibly do to help this company, and they are not on the corporate payroll. They're doing it because they believe in Robert and they believe in the cause and they believe in this company, and they see where we're going. They know where we're headed, right? And, you know, Ricky Durant, bless his heart, got free from his job, you know, and during this past week with all the challenges we've had, he's been like, oh my God, like, this is what y'all have to do all day long. And we're like, yeah, bro, you just thought you were working whenever you was out at that plant. So it's a whole different ball game now. The bigger the problems that you face, the higher your income will go in this company. And the last thing I want to say, Chris, and I'm going to shut up. I got on the phone this morning with somebody and I saw her bounce onto this Zoom. I hope she's still there. And she's a brand new person and has never done network marketing before. And she's in Florida and she is enrolled to her brother who is in Australia. And there's a massive time difference, guys. I don't know if you are aware of that, but big time difference. And there's those of us who have team in Australia who get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to be on Zooms when it's convenient with them, when it's not convenient for us. It's a challenge. And so this person who's raising children and doing different things was just decided she was going to have to go do this on her own. And has found out that you don't just wade into a business like this and go do it on your own. Just what Chris was, the same thing you were talking about. I shared some of those same things with this person this morning. I didn't enroll her. I don't even know how many levels down, who, whatever, and I don't care. I have people contact me all the time. And if I have a spare minute in my life, I don't ask them, are you on Brittany Beck's team? I don't ask them, are you on Tony Freeman's team? I don't ask them, are you, you know, I don't care. If I have a spare minute and I can help somebody solve an issue, answer a question, whatever, I just do it. Okay? And I think if everybody would take that attitude and not, I don't have time for you because I didn't personally enroll you into this business. Now, look, I understand we're growing at a fast rate, and at some point we may have to prioritize our time and make sure that our personal people do get enough of our time. But if I'm not dealing with a personal person issue right now and I got a minute, I'm going to help somebody. I'm going to support them. Yes, I'll jump on a three-way call. Yes, I'll jump on a welcome call. Yes, I'll offer some advice or tips or whatever, because that's what people have done for me. People have taken their time to do that for me. But for whatever reason, you know, you don't see people just stumbling into the police department saying, give me a gun and a ticket book because I'm fixing to go fight crime out there. You know, you don't see people show up at the fire department and just start putting on bunker gear to go fight a fire. You don't see people show up at the hospital in scrubs and just say scalpel and start whittling on somebody's noggin. But people come into a network marketing business and think, I got this. I got it. And they go out there and they just do whatever, with whatever skills they have, the best that they can. And then they decide that this doesn't work. Guys, they are going to have to learn from the people that are being successful at this business, how to do this business. And the only way they're going to get that is by us making ourselves available and sharing with them, taking the time, answering the questions, and doing that stuff. So I'll shut up. Y'all have a great night.
Ricky Durant.
What's up?
I know you have some goods to share, buddy.
I do. And like you were saying earlier, Chris, Greg had called me, and whenever he called me, he goes, "Hey, are you open to some coaching?" And, you know, like we've been talking about for the last week, you know, we're always on the phone in the morning just talking about how we can better serve everybody, right? So I said a couple of things that, you know, I went over on the corporate call yesterday, and I said, Greg, thank you. You know, instead of saying, oh, well, you know, me and my team did this and me and my team did that. No, I'm humbled by it because I want to keep learning to better serve the team. You know what I mean? Like, we got here as a team, but I'm not satisfied. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not going to be satisfied till I see, let's say, the whole company win in a big way, not just us, okay? This ain't just about us. This is about the whole company winning and us going out there and completely changing the whole entire world. And it's going to happen. We're going to go through bumps in the road, obstacles. And it was funny because I was talking to Gavin last night, and I said, and it was funny because he posted it this morning, so I got humor by it this morning. And I was like, Gavin, you know, if you're not passing the ball, and it was a joke, right? I said, you're getting slam dunked on. And then Gavin tagged me with it and then put my name behind it, you know? Because, guys, what happens is we get excited and we take off and we start, you know, sharing the product, and then somebody tells you no, and then the second person tells you no, and then you're like, man, I'm no good at this. But what you're missing is passing the ball. Why are you trying to do everything by yourself? We are here. I mean, I told Chris, I told Ian, I told Robin, I'm like, guys, I'm available. If I got to go back to work, let me know. I'll go get a job from 8 to 5 to keep busy. But I'm available to you guys 24/7 right now. You know, if you call me on the spare moment and say, hey, can you get on a call right now? No, I can't do that because I do have a schedule. But if you go, hey, Ricky, you think you're available tomorrow at this time? Hey, absolutely. Give me a notice. And whenever you're putting me on a three-way message on Messenger, tell me, hey, I'm going to introduce you to such and such. I've already talked to this person. Kind of, you know, pre-warn me before you throw me in the group, because then I'm lost. I don't even know what to say. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, we're all learning. I'm super excited about what the company has done with the corporate calls on Mondays for our new entrepreneurs coming in. So be sure that you have that schedule as you're bringing in an entrepreneur. It's going to free up a lot of your time because these guys are experts. They've been in the industry for 30 years, and they're really coaching our people and freeing us up to be able to go out there and talk to more people. On Wednesday, we have a product call. So if somebody's talking to you about the product, hey, we have a corporate call. I'm new, but if you can plug into this call, you'll learn everything about our products. And now they're not just talking about coffee and doughs. They're also talking about all the other products. So it's perfect, right? It's like whenever you're at the mall, walk in, and then a little kid goes, hey, here's a piece of chocolate. Then you go into the store, and then guess what happens? Now you're buying other things. So now the company, we're bringing them in with the dose, And now the company's talking about these other products that they didn't even have a clue about because we're leading the conversation with those. And now they're buying other products, right? But guys, I'm super excited about these SOS trainings. Everybody that's been to them said it was phenomenal. I can't wait. We're having one here in Houston that we'll be traveling to Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma. If y'all know anybody in Tulsa, it's about to be put on the schedule June 1st through the 3rd, okay, in case y'all know anybody in Oklahoma. And I know California is this weekend, and Robin and Char and all them ladies, Kirsten, all the California crew is going to be over there. Robert O'Bline's going to be over there. Guys, just stay plugged in. I can tell you what, the convention in June 22nd through the 24th is going to be phenomenal. If you guys only knew the product that we're going to come out with in conjunction with what we have right now, you would be there. That's all I'm going to say. So with that being said, thank you so much. We went an hour tonight. We're only doing this Zoom training once a week due to the corporate calls. So guys, get the schedule. If you don't have it, it's on the Team Rice page. I just posted it. If you have any questions, get up with whoever your sponsor is. Oh, before I forget, I was going to forget about this. And I'm glad you brought that up about that lady reaching out to you today, because we were actually on our way to breakfast whenever she called. And she was, yeah, like my brother's in Australia, all of this. Guys, as we are sponsoring people into the business, at least let them know who their leadership is, like above them, right? So if Robin brings me into the business, she's going to introduce me to Chris Schweda, Mark Willison, Judy Willitson, and say Robert O'Blien, let's say, right? So that way they have more than one contact. Because these people, they're coming into the business like we were, and they want to be helped. And we want to be able to help everybody. But if we're not connected to these people, we can't help them, right? So with that being said, guys, y'all have a good weekend. Thank you for all you do. And I can't wait to see you guys soon. Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Awesome Cole.
I'll unmute everybody. All right, good night, everyone.
Good night. Phenomenal job, Chris. Good night, guys.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you, Awesome Cole. Bye.
Good night, guys.
Don't leave.
Oh my God.